Hello everyone, welcome to Full Metal Gamer. I'm Jason. Welcome to my channel. This is a place we discuss all things heavy metal and video games. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like, hit that bell, let you know when videos goes live on my channel, and be sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about today's video and today's video topic. In which today's video topic is the recent Sony State of Play video event. And we're going to talk about why so many people, including myself, were left disappointed after the showcase was over. And then we're going to transition that discussion into what is going on with the gaming industry. What's going on with it? So we're going to tackle this conversation, and let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So Sony recently had their State of Play video showcase event, in which this was a highly anticipated event. A lot of people were looking forward to the games that Sony has been cooking up for the past year, the last couple of years. It's actually been quite a while since we've had any really significant news from Sony about games going forward, in which this has been one of the only generations I can actually remember where it just seems like nothing is going on. Like, this is the longest time I've ever seen with absolutely no news of what's going on with video games. So they started this event, and basically a lot of this event was showing off games that they have already announced in the past. And so that means we got some footage at the end of Spider-Man 2, which looked amazing. See what I did there? So then we had footage and basically a cinematic story for Alan Wake 2. Once again, this was a game that was already announced before, so that was pretty cool. I loved the first Alan Wake, really great game, and from what they showed us in this trailer, it looks pretty good. So pretty excited about that. And then the other, you could say the highlight of the show was then the reveal of the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater remake. And which, of course, I have specific thoughts about that, and I don't know how I truly feel about that yet. It all depends on what Konami decides to do with the remake. And the rest of the show was basically smaller game announcements. You had some stuff in there from Square Enix and stuff that actually looks pretty cool. Like, graphic wise, it's like, okay, like these are indie studios that look like that they're stepping up their game a little bit in terms of immersive experiences. You had the new game that was released, that's going to be put out by the creators of Journey and Abzu. So you got that game. It looks really neat. I personally love both of those games. So if you want something that has a lot of ambience and a lot of like a deep meaning, that is this would probably be a good game for people who like stuff like that. But then you had just some of these other games. It's like, okay, what is this? There were some games that were announced that literally no one knows what they even are. I believe Concord was one of them. I remember watching the trailer. I'm like, okay, but what is it? What is this game? Like, they literally showed a cinematic trailer, and they literally showed you nothing of what the game actually is. And you had the weird Project Q announcement, which has a lot of people scratching their heads like, Sony, what are you doing? I personally do not see anyone that's going to buy that device. It makes no sense. If the game actually could hook up to a cloud server, like let's say like a Game Pass equivalent, then maybe that would be something that would be worth looking into. But as of what we know about it right now, where it's like you have to be hooked up to Wi-Fi only, and It can only hook up to games that you have bought that are saved onto your PS5. This has that device that the Vita had, where you could beam Vita games to your PlayStation 4 or whatever. I can't remember what that was called. I think it was called Vita TV. I think was that was called. That reminds me of that. Guess who bought that? No one. No one bought it. This is a console that's similar to it. No one is going to buy it unless it actually hooks up to a cloud streaming service. No one's going to buy it unless it does that. So you can go out, have a Nintendo Switch. You can or just play a Vita or a Steam Deck. Something else would be better than this device. Sorry, but that's the reality. I'm not going to buy it. Moving on. So that was basically the conclusion of the whole event. And it made a lot of people wonder, like, Sony, what are you doing? This is the prime announcement era. I mean, like, time of the year, late May, early June. This is the time where you're supposed to throw out your big you're supposed to show the big guns. You're supposed to have, the fireworks. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake is cool. But realistically, is that going to be coming to other platforms? Probably. Is Alan Wake 2 cool? Yes. Is that more than likely coming to other platforms? Probably. So Spider-Man 2 was basically the only thing you showed, or that Sony showed, that is going to be a console exclusive. And it makes you wonder, what are they doing? What's Sony Santa Monica doing? We've heard nothing from them since, God of War Ragnarok. Guerrilla Games is probably working on the next Horizon right now, so that's years away. Like, what are their other studios doing? What's Ben doing? What's Sony been doing? What are they working on? What's these other companies working on? You didn't have anything else to show us other than that? Or is it like what some other people said? Are you waiting for Microsoft to reveal their stuff so then you can show off some more stuff afterwards? Like, what is it? Which is it? Yeah, a lot of people were kind of left upset about this state of play. They were upset that there was a lack of gameplay footage shown for a lot of these games. Spider-Man was the only one that showed gameplay footage. Everything else was pretty much just cinematic trailers that basically gave you no information about what the games were or how you played the games. Alan Wake 2 looks great, but it basically showed nothing. And the other big problem that people had was literally there were no release dates announced for any of these games. Even Spider-Man 2, that's supposed to come out this year, did not get a release date. So, I'm sorry, but if it's already June and this game is supposed to come out in fall, and you don't have a release date set for it yet, that makes me wonder if the game's going to even come out. Or unless you have something else big planned, and you're just kind of waiting to announce that because you want to see what Microsoft or whatever anyone else is doing. Nintendo, they're not putting anything big out. They just released Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So you got Starfield. That's going to be the big holiday game. Is Sony afraid that they're not going to be able to compete with Starfield in that season? Which, by the way, it's on Game Pass. So if anyone has Game Pass, they can just play Starfield on Game Pass. Sony, what are you doing? What's going to be your big game for the holiday? Is it going to be Spider-Man 2? Why didn't you announce the release date unless you didn't think it was ready? Big Last of Us 2 announcement with the factions, and it got delayed again. How many years has it been since Last of Us 2 came out? Sony, Microsoft, even Nintendo to a point. What are all of you doing? What's going on? Did the pandemic really mess you all up that much? Microsoft, Sony, I wish you two would stop worrying about fighting each other for this acquisition stuff over Activision and actually focus on putting out decent and playable games. that people want to play. You have some of the best minds in the video gaming industry. You can't come up with anything? Like, what's going on? Have you been holding their feet to the fire on funding? Like, oh yeah, this studio over here, we bought you, but we're going to give the funding to this studio over here. Is that the case? Is that the problem? Is that literally you have studios sitting, doing nothing, collecting paychecks, but they're not working on anything? Something's going on with the industry right now. Something's going on. And I think eventually it's all going to come out of what's actually happening. But until then, I guess we can just hope that Sony gets their crap together, Microsoft gets their crap together, and Nintendo doesn't follow down the same path that those two are doing. Because it's not good for the industry, it's not good for gamers or for people who play games. Putting out crap over and over and over is not going to work eventually. It's eventually going to crash. So just focus on doing good games. I think that's the only solution. So anyway, I think I've said what a lot of people are thinking, and I think I've rambled on about this long enough. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think? What do you think is happening? What do you think Sony and Microsoft should do? What do you think about the most recent state of play? Tell me. I want to know what you are thinking. So thank you very much. If you haven't, like I said in the beginning of the video, subscribe to my channel, then please do so right now. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like, leave comments, hit the bell. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch me ramble on about video games. So, have a wonderful night, everyone. Have a wonderful Memorial Day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Always remember, long live heavy metal.